Alright, this is my puzzle box. It's taken around 20 hours at home to assemble and a lot more time cutting, printing, and designing at school. Now, how I would solve this is by first looking at the front side. There's a rod which I can rotate and push in at certain points, but not others. There's also this flush button, but I can't pull it out, and so I assume that will be activated somehow. On this side, there are 9 dots. On the top, there's a cipher. Other 2 sides have designs, and the bottom has these rotating rods. But I'm going to start with the front side, which has the rod. Now, here it says that I should, on the cipher, the symbols correspond with the symbols on the rod. And the first one, being the largest, is Z. So the number next to it is 45, so I'm going to rotate the rod to the 45 and push into the Z. Now from here, I'm able to rotate back and to the 0, but I should follow the cipher in case one of these is wrong. So I'll see that the next one is the 0 triangle, and I'll rotate to the 0 and push in all the way to the triangle. From here, it doesn't stop me from pushing further, but there might be a dead end, and in this case there is, so I will not continue. The next step, it says, is 45 open O. So I rotate to the 45, but the O is not here. I only have the star and the open circle. So I actually have to pull out, which follows the maze, and pull to the O. From here it says 135 triangle. So I'll rotate to the triangle. And finally, it says 0 star. So I rotate to 0 and push in all the way. And now I can tell I'm free from the maze, and there's something that if I push, pushes out this bottom piece. Now in this bottom drawer, we have a piece of paper, a key, and a paper clip. This key, I instantly can recognize that it lines up with this lock, and so I will unlock this lock, and that's the first of 3. Next, this paper clip, I realize can actually fit inside of these holes that are on the side. So I'll start by unwinding the paper clip. That looks good enough. And I'll start by feeling each one. So that goes in pretty far. This one goes in a lot less, only to about that dip. This one goes in pretty far as well. This one only to the dip. Only to the dip. Only to the dip, I think. Oh, that one's pretty far. This one's only to the dip. And this one's only to the dip. So if I remember, this one goes further than the dip, yes. This one goes further, yes. This one does as well. And then I think this one, if I feel around for it, yeah, it does go further than the dip, but only slightly. So that makes me think maybe this one, being the furthest I can push in, is the first number. So that, if on a numpad, it would be 8. So I'll put 8 as the first number up here, which is already is. Next, I can feel for the next lowest one. So that one goes in really far. This one doesn't go in very far. And this one also goes in pretty far. So I think the next one will be 3. So on the lock, I'll put that to a 3. Now finally, it's between the middle one and the top corner. And this one goes in pretty far. And this one goes in pretty far. I can't really tell, so I'll just try 1 and 5 and then swap them if that's wrong. Oh, that was correct the first time. And that's a second lock. Done. Now finally, we just have 1 lock left, and we have these bottom 3 turning rods. But we also get a piece of paper. On this piece of paper has math equations and numbers and letters, and it's really confusing, but I think I'll be able to figure that out once I get this third puzzle. And now I'm going to time-lapse this, because this doesn't have a cipher, but it's just testing if the rod will fit in. So give me a minute while I try a bunch of different combinations. So I found you can cheat a tiny bit by looking through here and trying to, you probably can't see on camera, but you can try to line up the things from in here, but this is still taking a very long time. Okay. Okay. Think I got it. So this came off. I'll have to glue that down again. But the numbers I have here are 7531. I don't know if you'll be able to pick that up, but 7531 on this rod. And I can push it back. But yeah, this came off. But now with those numbers, so 7531, I can plug them into these equations. And let's see, so 7, I assume that will correspond with A. So 7 minus 4, that's 3. 3 squared is 9. So A, which will be my first number, I'll show you here, I'm going to set as 9. Now the next one, I'll assume is B, and that would be 5. No, that would be 1. That I will put as, so 1 raised to the 5 is still 1, and 1 plus 1 is 2. So B, I will put 2, and it's already like that. Next is C, and for that, n is 5. So 3 times 5 is 15, minus 8 is 7. So C is 7. And then finally, we have D. And D is 3. So square root 3 equals square root x. If you square both of them, that's 3. And so the final number is 3. Now I can take that off, put the puzzle back up. It allows you now to wiggle it off. Appears to be glued a bit, and the hinge came off, but that's okay. And then on the top cover, we have a $100 bill. And that is a full solve of my puzzle. Now time to put it all back together.